What's up? What is up? When you reset temporary storage, do you mem set the use space to 0? Well, you can do that in a debug build, for example, and not do it in a release build. I would suggest a value different from 0, though. I would suggest a value where you know if you're crashing. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Did I have my chai latte last night? Wow. Well, I can't really say too much about what happened last night. Let's just say some things happened. Okay, I didn't totally break pushing, at least right there. So the only no check-in left in this file is the stashing the post teleport info. Which I'm honestly not sure we need to do. Because let's try. all messed up now because of the undo. Oops. Gotta do that undo at some point soon. Okay, so I mean, it doesn't seem like we really need to do it right now. So this was all to get things to line up on teleport. And I don't understand why I can't just teleport things to the middle of the square like we're doing now. So we're just going to say this post teleport stuff seemed important back when I was doing the visual interpolation version of things, but now it doesn't. We'll bring it back if we see a need. That was one of the things I had a no check-in on. It's gone now. So there's no check-ins in this file anymore. Let me see. Post teleport. Okay, we didn't even. See, and then this. We're down to 50 no check-ins, a mere 50. We might as well start looking in this file because we've got one right here. What do we even use that for? I mean, yeah. This is kind of not really necessary. Because we don't ever need to even serialize this out. We like set this somewhere, and then we later call make teleport emitters if we do the move. Like, do we... Do we have the single move here? Ooh. So here, when we're in add move, if it's a teleport, we call make teleport emitters. We certainly have the single move there. Here, we have the target type available. instead of saving this on the thing, trying to figure out a way to do it without saving information. Here it's fine, we just call it. We could pass whatever we want as parameters. What about this? Emitters already handled. Okay, we set that here. Okay, so I'm actually going to break this function into two things because this is 100% of the time. This is just a wizard teleport. And it's all handled here. And we set teleport particles are handled. Like any wizard teleport is covered. And so all this stuff about swap target doesn't come into play for any other kind of teleport. Like all other teleports in the game don't exchange two objects. They only move one object from one place to another. So this is a case where I was trying to be too general. This is one of these things that happens in programming. I was trying to be too general, and it's not necessary. So the wizard's never going to disappear after teleport, right? And we're going to say target type is a type. All right. So we do one teleport emitter or the other, one particle emitter or the other based on what the thing is, and then we just pass that in here. Found.entity type. All right. And we don't even need to set this. So now the question is, with this, I don't think that makes any sense at all now. And because that doesn't make any sense at all, we don't need the teleport target type. And what's this all about? Like, here we're making a bunch of emitters, but we're doing it here too? Like what? Are both of these getting called? Because this doesn't set emitters already handled. I feel like we're calling both of these. Let's find out. All these no check-ins are from the work on the movement system. They're from the past few weeks or whatever. Yeah. Too many arguments. What, really? Oh, I forgot to change the file name. Not the file name, the procedure name. All right, so why not make enums auto increment implicitly? Because, well, they do that. I just never use it right now, and I'm thinking of taking the feature out, because if you ever want to serialize that and unserialize it, you will become sad very quickly when those numbers change. And so the question is that feature worth it if it reduces the amount of faith you have that you could just serialize stuff? You know what I'm saying? Now, you could say, always serialize your enums as strings, but that's slow and takes a lot of space. So, I don't know. It's a little hard. I mean, you could say, serialize your enums as integers, but write a dictionary at the beginning of the thing that maps that enum to strings. But, like, that's also slow and a pain in the ass. And then what do you do when it doesn't match? How do I serialize my structs? I call the function that says serialize my struct. I mean, I guess I would need a more specific question to provide a useful answer. How do I serialize my structs? I write bytes representing the value of the struct into a linear sequence of bytes. So I want to test some wizard teleporty things. No. I don't know if the wizard could swap with the dragon dude. Oh, I can't character swap. So this guy's default, you could change the key binding for the dragon there of what activates him. And one of those is character swap. Oh, okay. I didn't know he could swap with that. That's good. Okay. So when he is swapping with a block right now, he's not actually... That's weird. That's weird. Why is he not swapping with the block? I thought we do that. Oh. We say if it's not void. Okay. This is another complication, right? So void meant like there is no target. Although actually that shouldn't have been a problem because we're passing in the frickin' value. Okay, I'm so confused. Let's see. But we can remove that because the wizard doesn't ever swap with not anything. Well, okay, that fixed it. I'm very confused. So the question we had was, are we calling both of these? Are we calling both this and do mover AV effects? I suspect the answer is yes. So I'm going to swap with this block to the south. We are in do mover AV effects. Oh wait, we just call make teleport emitters from here. Oh, this isn't going to be a good test because this is the wrong thing because for wizard we set emitters already handled. All right. I'm really confused about all this then. Wait, we returned from do mover AV effects. What? What? Okay, hold on. Hold on. The question that I had wasn't about the wizard. The question was other means of teleport. Oh, I already have a beam. So let's get rid of these guys and this guy. And turn this beam to a double beam. And like that. So we're in make teleport emitters from add move. Okay, that's here, even though Visual Studio says it's here because Visual Studio is bad. So that's not surprising. Okay, did we never go to do mover AV effects? Or was it commented out? Oh, I must have removed the breakpoint maybe? All right, let's see. Okay, do mover AV effects. Is being called from add move. Whoops, here. And then make teleport emitters is being called down there. So let's see if do mover AV effects makes teleport emitters. It does. So we're just making double emitters, I think, when we get down here. So my theory is, if I just take out, oops. If I just take this out, do mover AV effects is already handling it. Yep. We've still got particles. So we had double particles before. All right. So let's get rid of that. Very good. How goes the patrolling? Well, we're down to like 49. No, 50 still. Oh, except we just got rid of this, right? Because nobody uses that anymore. Now we're down to 49. Teleport emitters already handled is probably not unnecessary, but let's put that there. Let's put all the booleans next to each other. If we're going to be lazy about using bools. I mean, okay, let's be honest. I'm going to regret it if I don't make these flags, right? Well, I was just thinking about something I should do later, but let's think about what we're going to do now. I think we're going to make these flags. Teleprot. This way we can serialize later as we add more flags and it's not a big deal. You know? And we won't just be taking up more and more space. Because this thing is sort of at the core of our system and it's a gameplay system, you know, what tends to happen is you keep wanting more things. That's just how it goes. And having them be individual bools is unnecessary. All right. sure there's probably some of that here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oops. I kind of want to put that feature in for Booleans. So that this isn't so annoying. All right. If we ever want more than 32 flags, we can make that flag word wider as well. That's definitely a thing. All right. At first glance, things appear to work. Okay. So that is just our old timer thing. Ensure subframe accuracy. I don't think that's a no check-in. I think that's something we do in the longer term. I think we go ensure subframe accuracy on Lily moves, falling moves. That's something we're not going to worry about right now because it's purely cosmetic and it's very small cosmetic thing. Came from stairs. Yeah. That is a thing that we should do. Should it just be move type.stairs or is it called elevator? Or we have elevator. What does update physical position even do with that? It doesn't even use it. It literally doesn't care. Great. Well, there goes that no check-in. All right. Down to 45. That's great. Do post physical moves. Yeah, we don't even do anything here. I mean, I guess that's a place to do some things. But like, we don't actually do anything there right now, so GG's. Okay, so transaction we must go after. We were doing that, but I don't think we ever set it on single move. We were doing this on stream the other day, right? And we made this, but then we did it a different way. Yeah, nobody uses it right now. I'm feeling like we don't need that. Maybe if we have to bring it back, I'll be sad, but I won't be that sad because it's not that much code. Like, it's hardly any. Right? Right. All right. I think we did this. We actually remove the support transaction when we step off an entity, so that's fine. Okay, this is just a debug test that our deltas were correct. That's why that was a no check-in. Okay, this one, I think we just leave this error in there and we run the Benny test and see if that happens. This is setting the teleport direction if we're in an endpoint beam. Which, yeah, this is not the right place to do that, I don't think. It should be here. Why it doesn't set it, I don't know. Okay. If there's a beam, we should handle this here. Okay. So this dir here is the teleport direction in this case. So the reason we store this, it's different from the actual positions that you move from and to, because you could be going in an endpoint beam that like then goes around a corner, and you could be moving like diagonally, but if we do a visual effect, we want it to go along the direction of the beam when you started teleporting. So we just say this. That is the correct handling, I think. All right. Get pending move position. Maybe shift physical move earlier in time. Yeah. That was a very early idea that I never executed because we did things a different way. Get pending move position. I'm not sure about that one. Find supported entities. Right, this was a spatial search, and I think this no check-in is from that, and now it's not a spatial search, and I think that's probably fine for now. I'm not worried about it. Supports that will carry us and supports that will not. Let's see. Let's try this out. So when this guy moves, she should fall. Yeah. So that's correct, as is. Correct as is. You know what? Should we put a side camera on this level? Just to help people understand. I mean, that background is really terrible, but you know. Makes it a little more understandable. It's a little bit weird with how tall they are, though. I don't like it. Okay, anyway, that actually works. Because we don't ever set supported by ID in that case. So we don't need to worry about it there. Wow, look how short our list is now. We have a mere 35 things. Soon there will be no check-in. Well, I don't know about soon. Sooner than before. Okay, let's get the last one in this file. We still can't check in when there are no check-ins because we still don't have undo, and that is necessary. But I want to grind through a lot of these because, you know, grinding through a list of stuff is never really fun. And then we'll at least have most of them, and then maybe we do the undo, and then we do the rest of them. Or maybe in a different order. Just delete all the code, GG. Yeah, that's a good approach too. Have I been to Seattle? Yes. I lived there for a year plus. What do I think of the city? Meh. Meh. It doesn't at least have the problem that San Francisco has, in that they actually decided to build places for people to live, especially on the east side. So there's that. It's just I don't like it that much. I don't know what to say. You use no commit? Well, if you're afraid of commitment, that's not my problem. Where would I live if I didn't have a studio in San Francisco? I don't know. I do not have a good answer to that question right now. I will like France better. No, when I was in France, everyone was snotty and mean, and I didn't like it. Or the people who weren't snotty and mean were depressed about the economy and not having a job. So, GG is France. Austin is a good choice. I lived in Austin for a few years, around 2002. It is okay. But that was before it blew up and got really big. And I don't want to think about what it's like to try to drive around Austin now, because it was bad back then. And I'm sure Austin has not invested in public transportation. So Casey mentioned he got attacked by a hobo in the street in Seattle a few years back. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Come to Tear Gas Buffet in Hong Kong. Yeah, I guess it's been a little more intense since I was there. Like, I did see a demonstration when I was there, but it was the old people demonstration. It was not very tear gassy. I imagine. So has the election made things worse? Like, what happened? I know the USA also put out a resolution about sanctions. I doubt that matters like at all, but we at least finally officially weighed in something. Yeah, you know, if I was trying to go somewhere with a good quality of life in the US, it might be like Omaha, Nebraska, or like, yeah, I don't know. Somewhere in Colorado. Do you have a strict coding style? No, we don't. We let people do what they do. It's pretty relaxed. Did I like Prague? I liked the part that I saw of Prague, but, you know, I didn't see huge parts of it. Actually, part of it was really run down and nasty, but part of it was all right. Ever been to Pittsburgh? I don't think I have. What's drawing me to staying in San Francisco? The fact that I run a software company located in San Francisco, and that all the fun things that I do in life are here. Do I smoke? No. Do I hire new grads? Not very much. What is the most relaxing place that I was at? I don't even know. Like, definitely I've been on vacation and been very relaxing, but in terms of living somewhere, I don't know. What about tropical environments? I think it depends on the tropical environment. As long as you stay out of the designated poop areas in SF, you'll be fine. All right, I guess I have to move out of San Francisco then. Feel like high heat makes productivity tank. Yeah, probably. They have lots of air conditioners, though, in places. What's currently a great San Francisco city, U.S. city, if you're interested in tech? Is it still San Francisco? It is still San Francisco or maybe Los Angeles. The thing is, none of those companies are technology companies. They are software companies. It's a different thing. Do we do summer internships? Yeah, sometimes. Depends on the timing and the topic and the person doing it. But yeah, we do. What are some of the fun things I can do in San Francisco but in other places? Good dancing stuff. Seattle, no. No, Seattle. Seattle sucks. Okay, so we were gonna... What's the difference between a tech company and a software company? Tech companies actually create technology. Ever been in Italy? I have not. Any tips for your first job as a software dev at Unity? Get really good at your job so that you can get a job at a different company. Because Unity's too big now. Unity grew too big, and it's not going to be a good working environment no matter what. It's just how it is. I mean, how many programmers are at Unity now? It's like an insane number. All right. Mike might fix it. Mike can't fix it. Mike can make the Unity engine technically better. He can't fix large company dynamics. In fact, maybe the reason he left his old job was large company dynamics. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't talked to him about that, but all right. So who is calling get pending move position? Does anyone do it? Apparently yes, but it seems like an old way of doing things. So let's take a look. That's commented out. Oh, this is a thing that I don't even know what it is. We could be teleporting into our own square. See, this is a whole... We shouldn't be ignoring anything anymore. Okay, what happens... The question that I have about this scenario is, what happens when I do this? Whoops. happens here. Okay. Actually, what should happen is this guy should be supported by himself. Rather than infinitely teleporting. And the reason for that is because he wouldn't be infinitely teleporting. Well, I don't know. Yeah. This is not very desirable. What do I think is the tipping point for engineer count? I don't know. It probably depends a lot on how the company is structured. You know, I don't think there's a very specific rule about it. So that's correct. Except that I undid and now I'm stuck. But that's, again, undo not working is not that big of a surprise. No E2 devs released a new patch that you're totally against. What does the new patch do? Have they ruined the game? They added a menu to pick the run difficulty. Now when you die, you hit new game and it pops that menu. Yeah, that's terrible. What do I think the relationship is between overall company productivity and size? If you mean productivity per capita, it is very clearly an inverse relationship. No. Productivity per capita is maximized at a one-person company. For small sizes, you don't have to pay very much. I would say you can go as far as 4 or 5 people without productivity per capita taking that much of a dive. Somewhere around 5 or 6 people, you start paying more. Well, you know, honestly, once you go over 2 or 3 people, there's no way that everybody is equally committed to working hard, and so that's where you start paying. But then you probably start paying coordination costs around 5 or 6, significant coordination costs, I mean, and then it just goes from there. The ones inhabiting the in-between zone have weird problems. Yeah, I mean, right now we're about 14 people, and, you know, I wouldn't want to be 50 people. You spent a lot of your time waiting on other people because of new process. Totally. That is a thing that happens for sure. For sure. Okay. What am I doing? I guess we're going to fix this. So this bad behavior is actually probably more important than sweeping the no check-ins specifically. So let's actually see if we hit this code in that. I think we probably hit. If I'm being honest, we probably hit this thing about wrapped around and hit ourselves. I forget where that is. We're just going to step into it and see what happens. Okay. All right, so we're infinitely teleporting. All right, so delta is -1, that's a falling. Okay, so we're in add falling move. So we already know here, we could solve this here. Let's try that. Actually, let's do this. The question is, I don't know what happens here. That might automatically work, or it might make us very sad. Let's see. Really? Really? Wait, what? I didn't expect the Spanish Inquisition. All right, let's get rid of this other beam that I put there. so we're going to go to falling again. We're going to see what happens. Move info. Delta. Okay, so we're going to update support. It's just not supported. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to special case it. That's a, I think that's a bug. Oh, come on, bro. So what's happening here is we're stopping falling. So you notice the cadence of this is slower? We're stopping falling and then we're falling again. I don't know, let's see. Oh, did I make a debug build? No. Gotta get in that habit. Okay. So, we're just going to go into this again. And then we're going to go start falling. Because my theory is he's starting falling again. Yep. Yep. Evaluate fall. Is supported. All right. Let's just go to here. It's a rock. Wrong one. Where's our dude? There he is. Okay, so when we ask if he's supported, what happens? We're going to get the move info for him. Okay. It's a teleport with a delta of 0. That's fine. Okay, so we did find our self. I'm just looking for the best place to put. See, now we fell down to the ocean test. All right, so let's do this. I think we're going to clean this out again in a minute because we don't need both of the things that we're doing, but when we ask if it's supported, when we get to this place where we find ourself, if beam teleporting onto our current position, we support ourself. Now, I don't necessarily want to return that I'm supported by my own ID because even though that's strictly correct, it's probably bad. So let's say null, true. Okay. So that should keep us from refalling. And oh. Put your parenthesis in the right place, please. Commas. Oh. Put return. Put the word return if you want to return things. That's, you know, people ask me how to succeed in the game industry. And you've got to put the word return. Especially if you want to return things. It didn't work. See, I'm not succeeding in the game industry. Like, all right. Let's get rid of some of these extra things. Okay. Wait, we're not even calling. Oh, we're not in the debugger. All right. Why is this not working now? I am surprised. Let's just see if we hit this case that I put in. We are supported. So, okay. Like, are we falling? No. So, does someone else start us falling? Falling has really been kind of a confusing mess in this game. It's a lot better now than it used to be. The new transaction system is helping, but there could be old remnants of mess. Why do I keep teleporting if I'm not falling? What is going on? Let's slow down time for a second. Why do I keep teleporting? Okay, let's go back to our falling loop here. Oh. We never called stop falling. So, okay. See, I forgot our new thing that we did last night. You have to explicitly stop falling. You can't just like not have your falling flag. That is not a thing. I thought we had a length. Oh, it was move info delta. Okay. No, we do call stop falling. Very explicitly. maybe that doesn't do the right thing. I mean, okay. Oh, we don't return, bro. Because we don't return, we add the new move down here. This was me not. Whoops. I forgot that I could F5 from Emacs and run the game. Except now it's taking a long time because we already are running the game. We've got 2 games. It's not good. All right. What is supposed to happen in that following situation? Well, that's supposed to happen. Because he's supporting himself down here, right? Now, whether you should be able to walk off the thing, I don't know. Well, I guess that's up for debate, but I feel like there's too many frustrating ways to get stuck in the game already. Like, maybe that's another one, but I don't know. Okay. That's what I would expect to happen, except that when I walk under the guy, I should become supporter. That's a weird one. If you can enter freely in the beam, it would be logical to exit freely. Not really, because like what's actually happening here is like I'm standing on myself. I'm not standing on the beam, right? So if you're standing on yourself, it would be hard to move by stepping off yourself. You know what I mean? So maybe you shouldn't be able to move. We don't have any levels that have this in it right now yet, so I'm actually not going to be, I'm not going to be super concerned about what the gameplay decision is there, because we simply don't have it yet. But we probably should have it. It's just not part of this check-in to make that decision. I'm going to write that down as a level. Dude, I have so many pages of notes that are like, gonna have to go through all those. I'd love to see an answer to some question that has scrolled way off. Let me see. I don't see a question. Maybe it wasn't added at me. How would I approach building a distributed application delivery platform? We already have a distributed application delivery platform. It's called downloading programs on the internet, man. Like, what's wrong with that? It works fine. You just make it nicer than it would have been otherwise. Oh, you quoted it. I see. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't like when people say the web is a distributed application delivery platform, I kind of almost don't understand Like, I just live in such a different world from people who say stuff like that. Like, I guess it's technically true, but it's like the worst one that you could imagine. So why? I don't know. So bad. Standing on yourself is a weird concept that no one is going to get. There are other levels where you would keep teleporting to the end of the beam. If people see those, they'll wonder why this doesn't behave the same. The reason is because the levels are different. That's okay. So right there, that's the difference between me and other game designers, though. Other game designers would say, oh yeah, we can't put that in. And I would say, no, we have to put it in because this is what the game is about. So the question is just how to do it in a way that people will get. And the way that you do that is you don't like try to sweep this under the rug and hope people don't notice it or something. You highlight the difference. You make a level that has both of these behaviors in it, for example, right next to each other. And people could be like, oh, I see. Easier said than done, though. It might be hard to make a good level. Hard to say. And in fact, actually, I think one of the levels already would have this behavior in it. Anyway, it's a decision that has to be made, but it's separate from making the movement system work. Am I at peak to-do list length? I don't know. You hope this becomes known as the sausage method? Dude, I was doing it before sausage roll. The difference between me and other game designers is they don't make honest attempts to index nil values. I would love to stop indexing nil values if I could, but apparently I can't. Now, admittedly, it is very much the case that players could be confused by this. But this is also like, this is how you have difficulty in a puzzle game, or not exactly difficulty. This is how you have an envelope to allow greater or lesser levels of mastery of a puzzle game, aside from just putting blisteringly hard puzzles in it, right? That's one thing you could do. Those are sometimes frustrating or annoying, but you can provide opportunities for people to understand things that other people won't understand, right? And that raises the skill ceiling of the game. You know what I'm saying? This is a thing that I don't know, people don't seem to get this about puzzle games. Puzzle games, the way that, so usually the way people make puzzle games easier or harder is with a skill floor, like just put harder puzzles in that people have to solve, right? But of course in shooters and stuff, you have this concept of a skill ceiling, which is, you know, are there arbitrarily impressive things that people could do by honing their skills at the game, right? And puzzle games don't tend to have that as much. And I mean, they can have it some, but I think you want to allow for that as much as possible. Yeah, I refused to update because when I updated, it didn't work. That's why. You have to carefully time the question. Yeah, I scrolled back to look. I didn't see it. Maybe it was a really, really long time ago. Will I keep track of weird stats like number of steps taken? I don't know. I thought that might be fun at one point, but maybe there's just too many puzzles for that to be fun. I don't know, it might be. Like there are definitely puzzles where figuring out like a shorter way to do the puzzle is fun, but in a lot of games that just is tedious and annoying. And I wonder if it would drop from fun back to tedious and annoying if there just were 500 puzzles to do it with, you know? I think the end of Moore's Law is going to finally put pressure on developers to shape up. Yes, it will, but not as much as I would like. I'll put it that way. Not as much as I would like. Okay, so I'm kind of hungry. I want to like eat some breakfast cereal for a few minutes or something. So I guess what we determined though, which no check-in was it? There was something about supporting yourself. Did we just delete that one? Look at all these no check-ins. Okay, we'll look at this one. See, here we might already handle this in the new system. We might just set the skipping direction. I don't know. It boils down to two major things with regard to the issue of distribution. One, content dissemination over a point-to-point communication system means you'll get content dissemination monopolies, which means 30% cut to them. Two, it's expensive doing large-scale content dissemination, which will probably cut profits. Is it expensive? I mean, it's expensive to send things to a lot of people, but if you're making money per person, it should be okay, unless the money you're making per person is very, very, very low. No check-in is no food. I think I would not ship the game if that happens. Any questions about what we're doing technically in the code while we take this short break for me to not starve? Any questions? what's preventing me from integrating the undo system? Nothing. It's just I've got a number of things to do and I'm choosing the order in which to do them. That's all. The thing is, you definitely need undo in place for the game to be playable and for me to check it in, but you don't need it to be in place in order for these gameplay issues to work correctly, because of course they're working forward in time without undo. So it's just the order in which I'm choosing to do things. I will probably check in after a successful Benny test of the majority of the game. If some levels are still broken due to occasional gameplay things that don't work correctly in the new system, that's probably fine in the short term. Yeah, but definitely undo needs to be in, and then we need to be able to Benny test most of the game. Will testing remain end-to-end, or is there a case for some unit tests? No, there's no case for unit tests here. No. Emerge hell incoming? Not really, because I've been updating the game once in a while. I think. I'm not exactly sure when was the last time. But yeah, I think it'll be okay. Also, the places that in the game that other people are working on are kind of compartmentalized. They're not gameplay code things for the most part. So it shouldn't be too bad. Look at all the nested ifs. You think this is bad? You think that's a lot of nested ifs? Dude, I don't know what to say. Leave academia. Could I come back to this in a year and still understand it? Yes. This isn't that complicated, what we're doing. Not compared to other stuff that we do. Would I be interested in doing more of an activity-based game, by which you mean more like Counter-Strike? Yeah, I've done that before. Could do it again. Do I have hard-coded commands? Yeah, so basically I have a mode where I just record myself playing through each level. And the recording gets saved, and then we go. Is it testing levels by using pre-recorded user input? Yes, it is. What's something I enjoy that is least like programming? Dancing or listening to music are both very unlike programming. Interpretive dance. No, I don't do interpretive dance. No, that's a different thing. Different. Okay. Let's do a little more here. Let's boot up this level. Stone Stopper 3. I mean, we've sort of sidetracked because we were looking at what about that last no checking in the other file, but whatever. Got to get them all anyway. Okay. So this one, is a nutty level. Super spoilers for this game, by the way, people. Super duper spoilers. I think there. I forget how I get across here. I think I need to... I kind of don't want to cheat. I want to remember how to do this. Okay. I guess I need to go from the right-hand side. So it's probably like this. And then like this. And then like that. Okay. Now's the crazy part. See, that wasn't what was supposed to happen. This level might be really hard with the timing. Whoops! I sped up instead of slowed down. That was not good. This monster really wants to attack a lot. So once we get a yellow transaction, I'm going to go... Except we won't get a yellow transaction. It's just going to sink, right? What happens? So we push it while it's falling, And now we get like a double. Can we resurrect it and make it skip? So we got a double transaction error. We got all sorts of bad things. We got problems with this. What are the blue water regions? That's just a graphics issue. Don't worry about it. They don't mean anything right now. It's supposed to be like a shoreline map, but what's happening here is it's a square off. Like it's supposed to outline the islands, right? But it's off sometimes because it's being worked on. It's a little bit annoying when you try to play a level like this because you're like, what do I do? Now I am actually okay with this level being broken for a little bit. Like I said, we don't have to Benny test the whole game. This is a very, very rare interaction. However, there is a general issue of what happens if you push something that is falling. And I guess you should be able to do that. I certainly shouldn't cause a problem in the transaction system if you push something while it's falling. Because that's just a thing that can happen. Just thought of a level idea. Okay. Well, when we push things, or when we close a transaction, where is it? Where is it? We have remove support moves. So that the only call. Or no, there's two calls. There and there, which is when we close a transaction. Oh, and when a commit causes support to change. Okay. So do I want to overload this to also handle fault? Like, if we decide that we're moving something, we could get more particular about it. We could say, like, look, if it's a push or a pull. Yeah, let's just get very specific. Because the whole reason we're doing this system is so we can be very specific about what's happening. Okay. Let's just say we're going to give ourselves a nice short name. Okay. So what I'm working to do right now is not necessarily make this puzzle work, although the puzzle might work, the timing might still be too tweaky. What I'm working to do is just letting me push a falling thing without having a duplicate transaction error, right? So actually, don't we have a thing? What about when we were doing the wizard yesterday? Oh, remove completed linear moves or uncompleted falls. This was the thing we did for the wizard. Let's just try that. Actually, you know what? We're just going to do this here, and we're going to retest the wizard level. Right? Right. Okay, let's go back to the wizard level for a second. Remember this? Well, you don't if you were only tuning in today, but hey, that's great. Great. Okay. Let's try this. I should just set up a level where something is just falling, but the right place, is it? Wait, I don't even need that guy. Why is he even there? So there, I think I was maybe just a little late. See, here I was too soon, so it's going to fall. Like I said, timing is very tight here. We're just going to wait. We're going to slow it down super much and wait till we see the yellow falling transaction. Wait, I guess now is okay, right? Why did we not, hold on. The rock up there is committed, so I'm not sure why we didn't find it. That's a different question. Why did our push skip that rock? But if we wait for the actual falling, so we're going to wait till we see the whites of their eyes on the falling. Okay, so now we're going to catch it while it's falling. Oh, we still got multiple transactions. That's not great. Why didn't we? Oh, because it's not push, it's linear interpolation. Let's include linear interpolation in that. I'm not sure why, like that's a whole other question about why we're not pushed, but it might have to do with why it was skipping. Whoops, I should have just left us where we were, honestly. Okay. Whoa. What happened? Did I break pushing rocks? Wait, what? I can't push the rock in the water anymore. So that's a pushed. Oh, I guess when we decide to start pushing into the water, that's a linear interpolation? What? Okay, hold on. Hold on. This is a thing that we definitely need to get more strict about. Definitely. Okay, let's start in this frickin' level. All right. So that's a controller proc and a push, right? That's as expected. So now, what's going to happen? So controller proc and a linear interpolation. But like, there's not a fall. So why did... Oh, it's a linear interpolation because we don't want it to sync with the character. I remember that now. We want it to go at its own speed. But then why in that case, what did we do when we called that function that was bad? Are we matching linear interpolation and did we take ourselves out? Like what was it? Oh, well, there's the completed linear moves, right? Except that this one shouldn't be completed. And we also should exempt our own transaction from this. Let's just, okay, let's do that first of all as a basic point of order. Okay, if T is transaction. Okay, and we're gonna, wait. Okay. Let's use the same terminology and same order of arguments as this to be consistent. So we just called it to exclude and we put it before the ID. And it wasn't optional. All right. To exclude. All right. So here we pass our transaction. We took this one out. We can delete this now because the wizard is still handled with the new version. Okay. Oh wait, we said unable to. So that works. So we were accidentally jacking our own transaction, which I don't recommend. So we're saving it from falling. So it looks like we're going to be able to solve the level actually now. It's just the timing is not ideal. Oh, and then I have to get the guy back across, which I guess is the fun part. I guess it's not hard though. Okay, level is officially solvable. Timing is tight. Why don't we catch the stone skipping into the square? That's something I'm going to worry about later, because that's like a move that doesn't have to do with the general system. That's like a thing that we do to make a level more or less playable. What is yellow transaction? Yellow transaction is one that is visually occurring, but it has not yet committed. So the positions on the grid have not yet changed to their target positions. Have I tried OmniVim 2 editor? No. Anything with the word Vim in it, I'm not going to do. Like, I don't even know why anyone would suggest that. Okay. Yeah, what do the attacking monsters do? They do this. Okay, well that's good. That is progress. So we're back to no check. That was a very relatively sophisticated thing to do that in the old movement system required weird hacks. And now there's not really weird hacks. It's just we're getting more specific about what happens when we do things. So that's better. We're down to 35 no check-ins. That's a lot less than the 80 we originally had. So get pending move position. We were deciding if we even do this. Maybe follow. Like, don't we just know this position? Why are we... Oh. Well, actually, we don't. Okay. This is all fine. We just do this way. We might not need to call get pending move position specifically. We could unwrap that, but it looks like enough other people call it that we might as well. Okay, this I just don't think that's even a thing anymore. Yeah. And then Mirror Isles is the only other people. Okay, this was just a test. Okay, this is fine. Although, that's fine, I guess. We could say get pending move position. All right, well, this is all fine. Way fewer no check-ins. 32. What float printing algorithm are we using? Right now, we are being super cheesy and calling out to the libc one. I have one that I wrote that's pretty straightforward, and we just haven't hooked it up. Okay. Well, let's pick another file. I mean, we'll go to serialize. So this is where, I think we just leave this one. This will be the final no check-in because this is where we need to put undo stuff, I guess. Well, no, because it wouldn't go here. It wouldn't go here. Okay, this though, we'll get rid of this byte when we change our save format to have, this byte says, hey, the visual interpolation stuff from the old system isn't being saved in this entity. Well, it never will be saved in this entity, but we're still loading old save files. And so when we do the format switch is a reasonable time. Like, we'll update the version number that we're saving, and at that time that we update it, we would take this out. So that's fine. That is fine. For now. I mean, it's not fine to check in with, obviously. Let's, so this is the other end of that. We'll say, okay. So, whoops. So now we're marking both ends of this. So this is the byte that we will save out, that we will stop saving out, right, when we change the format. And this is the byte that we will stop reading. And this search tag just lets us find them both. So that's good. So we're down to 30. Oh, this whole thing. this is confusing because all this stuff is about managing undo, which we can't really see how it works till we have undo. So how do we organize this a little bit better? So this is old stuff that used to work with the old system. Like this used to be, don't be annoying and save at the beginning of a fall. We could do it slightly differently, honestly. Okay, this part, this maybe retire next transaction is not needed. But this autosave part probably is. Okay. So this isn't really two no check-ins. This is like all code that needs to go together at some point in one. And it's about undo. Let's see. So we call this do undo end frame here. Could rename it to be the same. And I guess we just port this code over there. This is a little weird. I guess I want to override any decision. Okay. We'll put this here. This is where we would normally okay. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so then this part goes here. We do a request autosave. Although this is in the wrong place now. Okay, this is fine. The problem is, let's put this in a sub block. this stuff is now happening too soon because we moved around some stuff. And here is like where maybe people start drowning as a consequence of what happened. And if we save the undo state before this, then the transaction's over, but the consequences haven't been suffered. So really, really we want it here, like before we enact the next move, in theory. We want it there. Okay. We're down to 28. It's getting to be a small looking list of no check-ins. Have I released any guides on my workflow? Like how I've configured Emacs and how to work with Visual Studio? No, because all of that stuff is work theater, right? Like security theater at the airport. It's not actual work, and you shouldn't be concerned primarily with how to do that stuff. You should be concerned primarily with how to get useful things done. And then adjust those things as needed to get things done, but don't spend a lot of time adjusting those things unless you're getting that benefit out. What do I think about the new trends in human resources where everyone pretends to be friends? You have to have fun at work, play ping pong in the office, etc. Well, I mean, if you're not going to spend the day working, which most programmers don't do, you got to pretend to do something. So it's kind of helpful from both sides, right? The company needs to pretend like you're doing a great deal of work, which means you're in the office a lot of hours. So it needs a reason to convince you to be in the office for a lot of hours. And the people need to pretend like they're actually working. And so that's like part of where that comes from, I think. Chief Configurations Officer. Bets on what the number will be at the end of the day. I don't know. I'm about to take a break. And go outside and stuff. I hope that the number at the end of the day is 2 or less. Possibly 0. Your workflow is very effective. You improve a lot by knowing how I work. Okay, here's the thing. My Emacs settings are actually not very good. And the reason is because I'm very frustrated with Emacs. I hate trying to configure it because it turns into a giant mess if eLisp not doing what you think it would and all that, right? So honestly, if I were to sit down and map out what my ideal Emacs config would look like, it wouldn't look like what I have right now, right? So it's not worth, like, that's why someday I'll probably end up making my own editor, right? But there are some very important things, I think, that people do wrong now. So you'll notice I don't use autocomplete, right? I don't think autocomplete is inherently bad. I might use it if I had a better autocomplete setup. But I would not use the kind of autocomplete that you get by default in Visual Studio, or that a lot of editors do by default, where they just fling stuff up in front of your face because you can't think. Anything that prevents your flow of control over the program from your mind and your body to the program getting changed, and anything that pops up in front of your face all the time and gets you to think about other things and what you were thinking about is bad, okay? Now that especially includes, like, don't be running a frickin' Slack or Discord in the corner that's bugging you every 5 minutes. So if you're doing that, get rid of that before you do anything else, right? I mean, it's a little bit ironic because I'm streaming with Twitch chat open, but That's the only thing I have open when streaming, and it's in theory at least talking about what's happening, and it's not actually good for productivity, right? It would be better with no chat. But this is part of the sacrifice that we make in order to stream to the people, right? But yeah, like Visual Studio, which like pops up possibilities of what I could type anytime I'm typing, I just want to punch the monitor. It's terrible. So don't do that stuff, because the thing that everybody has forgotten, because this is the technology industry's fault, with all these like crappy touch controls and like bad typing on iOS and stuff, people have forgotten what it is like to use good physical controls that you know what they're going to do. And it's just like touch typing, where like when you're touch typing, you don't have to look down at the keys because you know what keys you're pressing. And you know that the thing that you're typing is ending up on the screen, and you just plow forward, right? If you don't make typos, which I do sometimes. If I had to look at the screen for every character to make sure that every character was what I thought it was, the way I do when I'm typing on a phone, it would be much, much, much slower, all right? Well, that's what autocomplete is in a lot of these editors when you get used to it, okay? The good autocomplete would be one where you could hit tab or whatever, and it'll complete your thing to something that you know is correct without you having to look and check that it's correct, right? If you could do that, then you can just blaze forward. But otherwise, not that good. A close second would be if it doesn't like spam you, but it's just inline in your text, and you hit tab and it changes it to the new thing like old shells used to do. That might be something I could live with, maybe. It still would break the flow, but it wouldn't break the flow as much. But yeah, levels like issues like that are much more fundamental than like what key do you have bound to search and replace or whatever. Like that doesn't matter. I mean, I still have file save bound to Control X, Control S. Okay, that's terrible. I used to have it on Control S, and that doesn't work sometimes. Because even though I'm not on a remote dumb terminal, some computers want to interpret Control S as like freeze the world or whatever. That's so stupid. Yeah. That would require the program to know the context of what you're writing, though. What do you mean? No. I'm not mapping out anything specific. I'm saying the requirement for autocomplete to be good is that it doesn't break flow. That's what I'm saying. I don't care about any other details. Yeah. Yeah, no, way too many people get bogged down in all this configuration stuff, and then they feel like they're being productive and they're not, right? What you actually do when you spend time configuring your editor, you're digging a hole of debt, of time debt that you have to pay back later, right? With time that you save. And that's fine as long as you actually save the time. But some people are just in endless tool adjustment. And it's like they never will make back the time. And in fact, some people do stuff where it doesn't actually save time, it's just different, right? And then you're never going to win. Okay. So I think we're just about done. It's about time for me to take a break. I mean, we're not done, obviously, but we're about at break time. let's take a look in Mirror Isles a little bit at these no check-ins. I feel like we did some in here. So these are just say audit me, because I probably did this when I didn't know how this new system was going to go. So what are we even doing here? We're teleporting objects in mirrors. So if it's a rock and it's not skipping, but it is moving, oh, this is only test. Okay. Yeah. No, this is correct. So what this only test thing. So normally the game is kind of turn-based, right? And if you go use a magic mirror, it's like I'm spending my turn to use the mirror to teleport me to another place. But you can use mirrors to teleport teleportable skipping stones. And those are not happening on a player turn, right? And so we have this mechanism where we say, you know, do we want to allow this to happen? Now, I'm actually not completely sure if this is necessary anymore. Dude, I wrote this comment in 2016. That's how long we've been working on this game. Time to finish it, bro. Oh, actually, this isn't just for interrupt moves like that, but like we also call this routine I think to determine, actually, this is a little weird. Let me see. This might just be so ancient that we just delete it. Level slam. So we're back here. So is this saying that, like, if I push this in front of the mirror, it doesn't appear until... No, it does. Oh, that is weird. Okay, so we sort of... I'm not going to fix this right now, but the rock orientation on teleport. Like, you'll notice... See, this is oriented a certain way, and its mirror image is oriented in the rotated way, right? So when I teleport, initially it's the wrong way, and then it snaps. That was a little fast, but see. So that we're rotating it at physical move. We're just doing something wrong. Like, as soon as we start the teleport, we rotate it, and that's not good. Yeah. So that's a thing that used to be correct in the old movement system because the physical move would happen immediately, but now we want to defer that. But that's merely a visual glitch. So we don't care about that yet. With this, I'm not even sure. Let's make sure what only test does. Only test for quick movers. So only test is an alias for that. Where do we call this from? That's a recursive test. We never call this with true. Like, literally, that's not a thing. right? If that's indeed recursive. Oh, no, that wasn't a recursive. I assumed. You know what happens when you assume. Does this get called? Yes. Okay, so it is what I thought it was for. So this is... Okay. I'm actually not sure. Okay, this is so that we don't buffer up moves if the player is running around. I think. Okay, anyway, for now, we're just going to believe that we need to preserve this. Okay, well, a rock that's being pushed, yeah, this is all correct. So a guy who's falling, we should say rock falling is okay. So something falling past a mirror is like an emergency mirrorable. I don't know why this isn't just a blanket continue. Like what? I think we should just do this. We'll see. We'll adjust that later. But the point is, the point that we put those no check-ins in for was to look it over, and we have done that. So we're down at 26. And I think that's break time for now. We started at 50 something this morning. We're down to 26. That's good progress. We'll do another stream today later, I think, where we keep attacking it. And we'll get it down to 0, and we're going to have a new movement system, and that's going to be awesome. Occasionally you reorient things when they get mirrored. Should that happen before the mirroring or just after? It should happen exactly at the point where the object moves position, right? It should be at the old orientation in the old position and the new one in the new position, and that is not how it is right now. So yes, that should get fixed. It's just that that's more of a minor issue than being able to check in the new movement system at all, you know what I mean? So we're deferring that issue till later. You're here for the Black Friday programming sale. So someone's hosting. Thanks for the host, but we're finishing up, man. Isn't it difficult to keep track of basically the entire project? Well, you don't have to think about everything at once at the lowest level of detail. You need to know in general what's going on with everything at once. Even with stuff I'm working on, though, I just feel free to forget a lot of things about a lot of things because got to be able to do that. What's after the movement system? We might do some compiler stuff, or we might work on water rendering, because as you have seen, the water rendering leaves some things to be desired. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming by, and we'll do another stream later today. Happy post-Thanksgiving Day. We're gonna. Bye. Bye.